Hello, everybody, and welcome to the SCL Week 5 US broadcast. I am your host, Lieutenant Hummus. I am joined, as always, by my two casters, Taboshi and Warning Track. Folks, say hello, hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, how you doing?
I am doing well. How has your Sunday been?
It's been really nice, actually.
It has been nice. The weather's kind of cooled off here in Seattle, so it's not obviously hot and awful, so that is always good.
Flash flood warning over here, but other than that, we're doing okay.
Oh, that's good. I hope you guys, stay safe. If we hear the water rushing in, we'll know what happened.
Yep, if you hear me gurgling during the cast,
Right.
you just go ahead and mute me, and we'll figure it out
and
later.
we'll go from there. Yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. All right, so I'd say we get into it. We've got 3 matches going for the folks at home today, including a live one. But first, we're going to start out in the Silver League with Wodar versus YerAnd. Then we're going to switch over to a live game, KCM versus Crazy Kaylee. And we're going to finish out with a challenger, Bitbanding Pig versus C9 High. And if neither of you have anything left to say, I'd say we get into the first match, shall we?
Sounds good to me. Wodar versus YerAnd in silver. This is going to be a really interesting one because any game with Wodar in it is very interesting. He is one of the most unpredictable players in the game, except for possibly Virifo.
Yeah, that's fair to say. Second least predictable, let's say, with Wodar.
That I'd say, yeah, those are that's a fair characterization of the both. So let's just hop straight into the picks and the bans. Let's start out with the bans. Wodar starts out by banning Modern, and YerAnd responds by banning, this is probably no surprise, Balcony. Anything we want to say about those?
So no modern, no balcony. That's just fine by me. Wodar is practically a balcony specialist, so it makes a lot of sense to ban that against him. And modern is a very large map that we're not really used to yet.
Yeah, these are kind of opposites. Modern, definitely the biggest map of the set or of the game. Balcony, kind of the smallest. So let's skip those, go right into the picks. We've got Wodar starting off with the doubled map, Courtyard, 4 of 7, kind of the common one. YerAnd picking up Veranda. Wodar responding with Gallery. And the last pick, YerAnd, is going to go after my own heart with Pub, any 4 of 7. Anything you want to say about these?
Well, I do want to say something about the banned maps real quick.
Sure,
I like
banning
Balcony is kind of funny because we just mentioned Wodar, least predictable player. Not just least predictable in a general sense of what is he going to do, what's his game plan going to be, but also just a lot of variance from match to match. Wodar will sometimes just kick your butt, and other days he'll give away a couple games. There's just a lot more variance in his play, probably because of that play style. And Balcony, easily the map with the most variance too. So you combine an unpredictable player like Wodar with a coin flippy map like Balcony, and you have no idea what's going to happen, frankly. And Modern, on the other hand, there's kind of something there too. Wodar kind of wants some stability there too. Modern is untested. Nobody really knows what's going on. So in a weird sense, these are both safe picks from the players. Both of them are saying, I want to play a normal straight up game.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me. The only thing, I know Pub, a lot of people, I'd say a minority of people like it. I am a big fan of Pub, but I know a lot of other people aren't huge fans of it, so I'm really glad to see it picked up. I hope we make it all the way. Veranda is kind of an interesting one. Do you think that's a little bit of a, well, fine, if I can't have a big map like Modern, I'm going to take Veranda?
Yeah, maybe, but usually you see library instead from somebody who likes that. I think if it's Veranda, if I had to guess, and there's a lot of guesswork in this sort of thing. Sometimes it's just, hey, why not, right? A lot of people are pretty agnostic on most maps. They just want to get rid of 1 or 2. Maybe they've got a favorite and that's it. I think with Veranda, I feel like that gets picked more than library as a counterplay, more than something you like.
Yep. And with that, I'd say we get back in it, unless Tobo, you got anything else you want to say?
No, that sounds good to me. We are starting things out on the Courtyard, any 5 of 7. This being Wodar's pick. He will start out on the spy side. YerAnd on the sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And still a lot of time to go, but Wodar YerAnd already looking like an early preview of the silver finals. This is a big match for both of them.
Absolutely. Wodar as rocker, starting things off relatively slow in conversation with the double agent, but not the seduction target. And you usually don't want to give up a bunch of lowlights from an early contact like this. So just
Yeah, not
stepping
gonna happen.
away towards the seduction target to take the common start. And picks up 34% off of the white test. And a seduction target who steps away from us as well, which is very nice.
I think that's actually nice, yeah. If you're going to hang around at all, if you wait for 10 or 15 seconds and you think about a timer flirt, then you hate it. But if they're going to leave at all, you'd rather it be early so you can plan around it.
Now, the double agent and seduction target in the exact same spots. We might be able to make some use of this now that a little bit of time has passed. We haven't been able to make a whole lot of use of the time, but there's
That'll
a
all
second,
change in a hurry, yeah.
There's a second flirt going off, another close white up to 68%, so we're not going to be able to give too much room on the third one. Contact the double agent is a very real possibility here. I think only one or two people out of conversation.
It was one for a very long time. I can't believe it took this long to go off. It became 3 possible lowlights when it could have been 1 at any point in the previous 15 seconds. That's an unforced error.
Well, the contact comes off and only gives off 2, which is not bad.
Yeah, there were 3 possible, but he only got 2. But still, I mean, there was just a long delay. The flirt was done. One person out, no one moving. It was almost ideal.
It very much was. It's looking like he's going to timer flirt for the third. There it is. Another white test, but it didn't have to be anything more than that to finish up that mission. And now we are 2 completions. The contact and the flirt, as we step into statues to get our third in way of the inspect.
YerAnd is just now rotating to see, just now saw Wodar at statues.
And gets the standard issue statue. Oh, goes for the swap as well, and immediately takes a bullet for it.
Yeah, there was nothing going on. No one else was at statues. The ambo was not threatened. No one was directly next to them. General rejected a drink around the same time. That's it. It was a docile party. I don't know if it was deliberate or not, but if it was, that was not the kind of time you want to swap on Courtyard. You really want that bustle of activity when it's happening late.
Yeah, I mean, late statue visitors on Courtyard, I think, are particularly dangerous. But, yep, so that puts YerAnd up 1-0. And now I believe we're going to go ahead and switch some sides, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Stepping into the next one, it is going to be YerAnd on the spy side, playing as Bling Twin. Wodar on the sniper for the second round in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Not able to start things off with an innocent flirt as the seduction target starts things off at statue, so YerAnd gets thrown for a loop on the standard early plan here.
Yeah, not ideal. You don't necessarily want to chase the statues early, and if you do, you have to do it immediately or you're going to miss them entirely. So not a lot to do here.
Very slow start from YerAnd, just going to a lot of innocent paths that he can leave quickly as he waits for the party to give him something. Another innocent conversation. This is worryingly slow.
The last one looked like a bet that the ST might join him. This one looks a little more deliberate. This might be deliberately angling for a low light.
Hello. We had a moment where we may have caught Wodar on rotation there.
Well, Toby on the opposite side.
Here we go.
There's a chance.
There it was. A little bit of laser lag made it just a little bit visible, but it looks like YerAnd got away with this.
Yeah, there was a half a second hesitation where it could have been perfectly invisible. Wodar was technically able to see it coming back around, but where were his eyes?
It looks like it was clean. That's not always telling. We do pick up a green flirt coming out of the back of it.
And that's going to help after that slow start.
It very much is. It looks like Wodar is keeping YerAnd in view, but with the Ambassador and Toby all in the same spot, it's not really telling yet, as far as the laser movement is concerned, how suspicious YerAnd is. This long rotation might be a little bit more telling.
Now, you get away with the bug, and you got a green flirt, but look at how far behind you are. You have to add time.
There's the time ad, and if he doesn't get shot, this means... And he doesn't get shot. I think that means that the bug was completely clean.
Yeah, but look at the DA here. Picking up the statue, I think, at just the wrong time. It interrupts the inspect. That's big.
Indeed it is.
Decides not to do any.
I'm surprised he didn't take the one at least.
Yeah, you should.
Makes things move a little bit quicker later down the line. It doesn't really cost you anything. Oh, red flirt! Oh, that hurts me just a little bit. Now, with only 1 minute left to play, we might need some shenaniganry to finish this up, unless we can hit that close green.
YerAnd needed to time out with a minute left, and now the 45 seconds are gone, and you're in the exact same position.
Oh, that hurts. I'm not quite sure what the shot was for, unless maybe... I assume maybe he was somewhat suspicious for the time ad?
That's my best guess. I think it was the time ad.
If it was suspicious for the bug, he would have been shot for the time ad. I think probably suspicion for the time ad is what got him shot for the contact.
I mean, it is possible. I mean, as KCM likes to say, shoot for missions, you know. Time ads don't actually win you anything. So if Wodar had great presence of mind, it's entirely possible he saw the bug and just sat on the time ad, and there's still no reason to shoot, especially when he doesn't do anything much at statues. But my money would be on the time ad, yeah.
Yeah,
interestingly, Wodar saying missed the time ad and missed the bug.
Yeah, you can barely see the bug kind of like right over there as Wodar's panning the camera and we're taking a look at it on
It was just
stream
coming
right
into
now.
view right around the curve.
Yeah.
I will say, if there's anyone in this league who would catch a red flirt, it's Wodar.
Yeah.
All right, so that ties them up one apiece. Moving on to the next one. Again, we're sticking with Courtyard. Wodar taking over as Sick or Seek. And YerAnd behind the sniper rifle. Take us away.
In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Two very, very different spy games to start, but it results in the same thing.
Starting things out super early with a green time ad is Wodar. And then stepping in for the flirt. That's a strong start from the man with the red turban. Green test on that first flirt for 51%. This is good stuff.
Yeah, and there's just no downside to the timer flirt here.
Especially with that time ad.
Mm-hmm.
Section target does step away from us, but that means we've just spent the time ad time looking inconspicuous, which is exactly what you want to use that time for.
Also, the seduction target goes to a conversation with the actual double agent, too. So you get a little 2-for-1 here. That's kind of the quickest way to make innocuous progress on a map like Courtyard, is to get a flirt and a double agent in the same conversation.
And with so many people in conversation, it looks like he's going to go for that contact pretty quickly.
Yeah, I should do it first.
I think just the one person available to be low lit here.
I'm hesitating again. We saw this last game, but this might actually pay off this time. As Alice enters.
No, double agent leaves! White test on the flirt up to 85%. We still have 2 minutes and 15 on the clock, so lots of time there, but a little bit of a shame that we lost out on that beautiful contact opportunity.
That's twice the hesitation on the banana bread has potentially cost Wodar. Interesting to note, YerAnd has high-lit the correct double agent and low-lit the suspected one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think YerAnd's picked up on this. That could be very important later.
Very, very slow play from Wodar coming out here, looking for another timer flirt. 35 seconds left on the clock as that finishes up, so a little bit behind the curve, but very inconspicuous.
Yeah, it's easy to imagine. I mean, it looks worse than it is. If you get the double agent quickly, suddenly you got the standard thing, you know, a minute and a half on Courtyard, your 2 soft tails are done, not counting statues. What do you do?
Well, it looks like we wanted a contact there, but the double agent wasn't having it.
You really don't want to add time again if you can help it.
Indeed.
On the other hand, this is not much of a party right now. This is a fake.
A fake contact. Might
So-
just be going all in on getting somebody else shot,
I
but
think that must be it.
there's just not that much going on right now. None of the highlights were in conversation with the double agent.
Yeah, and again, we have reason to believe that YerAnd knows which is real. Gotta be another time out here.
Indeed it is, and there's another green at that.
Right before the 30 seconds start. That's interesting.
Zoomed all the way in on that guest list as Wodar did that weird path in the conversation, so should be okay, even though it was a little bit visible on the way out. There's the real contact coming off.
And it's a pretty good one, actually, for what seems like a desperate BB. I don't think YerAnd's about to shoot, though.
One highlight brought down to low light and nothing else.
Hardly any statue visitors this game. This is just not a good game to frame.
Do we just inspect swap? Is that
I
how
don't
we
know.
do this? No, it's going to be a white purloin.
Duke's at statues late, but I don't think
He
it's going to
sees
matter.
it. It's on camera. He did see the guest.
There's no reason to shoot, though. If no one's gone to statues, he'll have to shoot him now, but not before.
Now Wodar stepping in the
He's looking at Duke in the statue.
This is
Staring at Duke in the statue.
Is Wodar gonna do this? He hasn't rotated around. Now he sees Wodar. 15 seconds. Does he take the shot? Looks like he does.
Wow.
Oh man.
He was enamored with Duke on the other side. The Amble walked by at 1.2. Duke went with, I think, 17 seconds left on the clock, something like that. And that's what he saw first, and that almost won Wodar the game. Just the fact that AI went at right that time.
Wait a second.
Yeah, the only
That's overtime. I didn't expect that to be overtime.
Yeah, so I actually ran into this at 1.2, and I reported it as a bug, but it's like, no, it's intended. So overtime is always based off of the sniper's clock, which is the danger of a green time ad. So if the sniper's clock is hanging at 0 because of the green time ad,
Right.
they are guaranteed the 10 seconds of overtime, which can be dangerous.
Yes.
That is really, I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
It used to be that way.
Yeah, so like green time ads I love green time ads at the end for just the psychological horror of the slow beeps. Like, I think it's brilliant. But yeah, that's the danger you run up against is the guaranteed 10 seconds overtime when you really wouldn't want it.
Well, he shot with 9.7 anyway, so in this case, the fact that he got the full 10 seconds was immaterial. He rotated in time, and that's all it took.
Yeah, and the purloin, I think it was visible. I'm going back right now. It was visible, but you couldn't see the fade, so you could see it was gone. You knew that Wodar took it, or that Sick took it, but totally unclear whether it was a white purloin or a green purloin.
Yeah, not zoomed in on that.
Either way, it's YerAnd's win. On the sniper side, Wodar needs one here to split Courtyard, his own pick. But if you want to do that from anywhere, you want to be on the sniper side of Courtyard, let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Either way, let's see if Wodar can pull it off. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. YerAnd starting things off with an innocent drink take, oddly enough, and then into a conversation with nothing to do.
Just like last time, it's just slow playing. Now, might make sense again, we mentioned Wodar maybe catching flirts earlier. This is one of the people you wouldn't necessarily want to open with a standard Courtyard move of find your ST and cuddle up.
That's very true.
Bronze, by the way, last season, where YerAnd comes from, one of the lowest timeout percentages of any league, I think about 3%. So YerAnd's timeout percentage was 5.8%, which is close to double that, but still pretty normal or low by most other standards.
Very interesting stuff. First little portion of the game already whiled away. 2 minutes left on the clock at this point. And still not a lick of progress coming out of YerAnd here. Might be already going all in on the frame. Now stepping into conversation with the double agent and the seduction target, so it looks like he's getting ready to at least give himself some options moving into the end here.
I think frames are a little less viable. I think we see this sometimes when someone advances from a division. They take a little while to adjust and see that frames are not maybe as viable as they once were. Wodar, in particular, below the average for civilian shot last season in silver.
Well, there's the white contact, so that's one mission completion, but with 1:10 left on the clock and no progress on Flirt, I don't think we're going to get a mission completion here.
Yeah, if you're done with Seduce, you can get Banana Bread at potentially 5 or 6 seconds notice. But the other way around with a minute left, that's not going to work.
Well, green Flirt for 51% to start it off, and then right into the statues. We've got time. If we can hit another green test. Ooh, this is a difficult fingerprint. If we can pull that off, that could be huge. There's the inspects done, and the green fingerprint we did get. So now we're watching the ambassador like a hawk.
That would be a big, big deal in any other circumstance, really. But fingerprint is one of those things you're going to need a little time and a little help from the party for.
Right in for the briefcase. There it is. Fingerprint is done. 20 seconds left by the time we get back to the ambassador.
Yep.
We get low-lit for the briefcase.
But you still need the green Flirt. You're still banking on the action test right here.
The green Flirt right here. And he does! Are you kidding me? YerAnd, the clutch master, finds a way at the end of the first map to put himself up by 2.
Yeah, and I have no problem with Wodar's low light there. He's thinking, unless I think they're going to complete fingerprint and there hasn't been a lot of activity, who's going to bother with this briefcase late in the game? If you're not already suspecting that person of going for fingerprint, why would they bother? So the idling there does pay off, but a huge risk to require 2 green Flirts and a green fingerprint to make it work just in time.
Man, was that ever something.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Wodar, you tip your cap. You say, okay, look, I'll take a game where the spy's going to lose unless they can hit those 3 clutch green 3s.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that required 3 green tests in order to pull off the 2 Flirts and the fingerprint. Damn.
Yeah, and
really
the first one was just a standard Flirt. The last 2, it was obvious the last 2 pretty much had
it had to be green, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to know what the contingency plan was there, or if YerAnd just knew it was going to be like that all along. I actually don't even know which one it would be. That being said, we're going to leave the courtyard behind. We're going to travel to Veranda, which, if you don't know, all of the maps actually take place in the same physical building. It's just a little bit of SpyParty trivia for you. Something you can take home and use yourself. So anyway, that puts YerAnd behind the rifle. Wodar as the spy. Take us. Oh shoot, it's 3-1. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, use it to win a bar bet, right?
Use it to win a bar bet. It's official canon. Just kidding. All right. Anyway, 3-1. YerAnd. Go ahead. Take us away.
And at this point, Wodar on the spy side is going to try to see if he can begin the comeback here on Veranda. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. Certainly not the start Wodar was looking for here. Not very productive first pad, a little bit of bumping on the way into the green bookcases, but nothing disastrous by any means.
Especially not on Veranda.
Especially not on Veranda, this is true. Looks like he's going for a difficult fingerprint here. Does not hit it.
I like those early in the game. You want to find out if you're going to hit them. If you hit it, it changes the entire trajectory and you can plan out fingerprint a lot better. I would actually go for another one even. It's pretty low risk if you think the sniper's on the ball. And you don't want to have to, as we just mentioned, even though it worked out for YerAnd, you don't want to have to hit that hard fingerprint later.
Absolutely. Either way, picking up a blue book and a 51% Flirt while we're at it. So we're probably not going to do any walking transfer business here, but we might do some animation transfer. opts not to, just puts the book right back down where he found it.
Now, I guess playing slow on Veranda a little better than most maps, you know there's probably going to be a lot of activity most of the time. It's going to be easy to imagine someone finishing. But I think, oh, wow, never mind. Going to try to induce a shot instead here with a green purloin, at least.
Purloin gets taken, no reaction as of yet. Finishing up the flirt in 2 as well. Now he notices that the list is gone.
Big
but
zoom.
It's far too late.
Yeah, I don't think that was caught. I think Wodar got away pretty clean there, but you never know.
Yeah, I think that was completely clean. Wodar at this point is in a very good situation suspicion-wise, but not such a great position missions-wise. We've got 1:30 left to play. Now that we've got the cheese microfilm, we're in a much better spot. Only 2 completions left. One of them is a single fingerprint. This is very doable.
Yeah, this is a lot of progress. 2 hardtails are done. You haven't gone to statues yet, and it kind of feels like Wodar's trying to avoid it. I think we're looking at banana bread and then a simple fingerprint. Looking pretty good.
Well, here comes the contact. There it is. 1 low light, who was a highlight, I believe. There's 2 low lights, 3, 4.
Well, the 4th, that might have been, I'm not sure that was hard. I think that might have just been a kind of a deduction rather than something they could have been sure about. But regardless, not too bad for Veranda. Frankly, just not being shot after doing that with 2 hardtails, that's what you wanted. Ooh.
That bouncing looked pretty good from the outside perspective. Here's the briefcase coming off. It is fingerprintable. This is going to be the last mission. I really don't see YerAnd shooting for this.
I don't think so. Yeah, if you're Wodar, it doesn't matter how many lowlights there were. If you didn't get shot for that, you were going to be fine. That was the moment of truth.
That was a very, very strong game of Spy as Wodar here on Veranda, answering right back for YerAnd's Spy win on the courtyard.
And I really like the timing there. We mentioned early, he missed the hard fingerprint. He had half a flirt done, and I was just starting to say that he's going to have to hurry up if he wants to actually complete missions, or at least leave himself the option if nobody else gets shot. And that is pretty much the exact moment he started doing missions and didn't really stop until the end. I think his calculation there, his game sense, his pacing, were dead on.
Yeah, I agree. I actually don't have too much to add about the game. It may have been worth waiting to go and get the fingerprint off of the green bookshelf, which is where the ambassador was at the end. But, if you're not going to get shot for the briefcase, then go for it. Mm-hmm. All right, that brings us to our next game. YerAnd on the sniper side Wodar on the sniper side, YerAnd as the sick. Go ahead, count us in. Let's get the show on the road.
In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, very aggressive there at the very end of that game. I think if you're Wodar, you're thinking, I did 2 hardtails and a banana bread. If I'm not dead, I'm fine. I can be very aggressive with whatever's left.
Starting things off with the green bookcase. Might do some bookcase cheese, but opts not to. It's too late now. Actually going for the animation transfer. Didn't hit in the green test or anything like that, but it looks like it was still unnoticed. It's unusual to see people do the animation transfer on this map.
Yeah, and that was a tall character. His head was turning back and forth, was actually visible above the conversation on screen, but, again, not necessarily something the sniper's looking at from there.
And with the relatively smooth turban, that's a little bit more difficult to see than some other characters. There's the green test on the second one, and with Wodar on the other side of the map, that is a completely clean microfilm.
Yeah, you basically have to be sitting on that to catch it, I think.
Stepping in for his first flirt after that, with 3 minutes left to play. YerAnd is looking strong off the break here. Let's see if he can keep it up.
Yeah, not bad, but you look at 1 seduce in the microfilm here, you can still do well if you make progress now, but 2.5 minutes left. Yeah, YerAnd's deciding the same thing, wants to get something done.
This could be a bug. This is definitely in range for bug.
It's a counterintuitive time to bug. I think it might just be a quick flirtation cooldown, but let's see.
If Wodar takes a bad rotation around the corner here,
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like he is.
No, I think he's guarding. Well, the guest list is right there too. There's just not much reason for him to. No one's at far statues on the left side, so why bother? Just stare this part of the party down.
Takes an innocent drink, looking for a difficult fingerprint, and does not hit it. 2 minutes left to play, and YerAnd is starting to look a little bit tight on the clock as he takes a highlight. Highlight for difficult fingerprint, you think? That seems a little bit weird.
Well, it did burn him before. Gotta wonder.
Takes a white time ad, and yeah, this is death. This is the end of the game. You
Yep.
see how the zoom in immediately after that went off. Just way too suspicious to make anything of that. And Wodar has equalized this set.
Yeah, and worth noting, by the way, that some of these Wodar sniper wins have just been well before mission completion. Just
Yeah.
well before. If you're YerAnd, you're thinking, I got that great mission win, and I feel very good about it, but it took a lot of improbable greens. It took a lot of risks, and they paid off. And my other games, he's gotten on to me after a mission and a half.
Yeah, Wodar playing some very strong games of sniper. I think catching a lot of
Subtle things,
weird
Yeah.
pathing issues, I can only imagine.
I mean, padding issues, the timeout is obviously what kind of set it off. But yeah, considering the microfilm was basically free, so yeah, excellent strong shot from Wodar, and that ties it up actually 3 apiece halfway through Veranda. I'd say let's get on to the next one. Oh, interesting. Wodar was Tex last time, and he is Tex again. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but just there we go.
In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, as close as this set is, if you're Wodar, you have to be very happy with how you played.
Oh, the immediate statue swap. That's probably bad. It's just a highlight. It's not a shot yet, but that's probably very bad for Wodar.
Probably. I don't know. I'd be really tempted to banana bread sooner rather than later, just to kind of find out where I'm at. Either that or you're going to go, all in on a frame and hope they think they misremembered?
The world may never know. Well, it looks like Wodar is doing a path. That was very strange. But we're not dead yet, so there's that.
Could be worse then.
You're not wrong. It could have been a helibug. Wodar stepping into the inside windows here for a moment, just to catch his breath after all that walking, and is now on his way back.
And what's the plan
Unusual
here?
pathing decisions from Wodar here as he steps in for his second flirt. White test on the second flirt brings him up to 68%. So one more nice close white will pull it off. But with 2 minutes and 10 left to play and a lot of suspicion for a possible swap, this is looking worrying for Wodar.
Yeah, I gotta say, kind of those early swaps where they think they caught them, it's a lot harder to shake that late in the game and convince them they're wrong than it is with something like, I don't know, a purloin. I feel like this fails less gracefully than the purloin.
A little bit too much distance on this flirt, only 98% after the third white test. That's going to throw a wrench in whatever plans Wodar may or may not have had.
If it soothes your pain, it might not matter. He's got a pretty tough road to walk anyway.
Well, it's certainly not going to make it any easier. Contact coming off. There it is.
Big test right here.
1 low light, 2 low lights, 3, 4.
Okay, so this means one of two things almost definitely. Either he's not nearly as suspicious of the swap as we think, or he is so suspicious that he's been monitoring Wodar this whole time and is totally convinced he could still not be done. So it's either
I don't
really
know.
good or really bad news.
I think if it was the latter, some of these paths, like that one,
Yeah.
would have gotten him shot. So there you go. I guess we've reached our conclusion.
There it is, right. And it's a reasonable thing to wonder either way. If you're Wodar and you're not shot after that banana bread, you feel pretty good. But again, there's only one scenario where that makes sense, and that is I've been staring at this person. I'm actually convinced they've only done 2 to 3 missions.
Yeah.
It's hard to be because they haven't been to statues twice, put it that way, and you're just not confident they've done anything else. But being able to watch someone closely enough to be confident they haven't even done bug on veranda, that means you've been staring them down pretty hard.
Yeah, and YerAnd confirming in the chat that YerAnd was pretty sure about the swap.
Yeah.
But was waiting for a confirmation. That being said, that puts YerAnd up 4-3 if I'm keeping track correctly, which I have messed up at least once tonight. And this is going to be our last trip to Veranda with YerAnd playing as the Queen, notable for having a dog in her purse. Anything else to say about Queen? No, she has a really cool hat.
Bulletproof purse, by the way.
Bulletproof purse, of course. You cannot shoot the dog. The dog will hide in the purse if the laser is over the doggy. And, of course, the bulletproof purse, as all queens and spies are wont to have. Take it away.
In 3, 2, 1, playing it. Oh, you're getting in on this immediate swap business.
And I don't think this was seen. Wodar is really nervous about the ambassador's vulnerability on the left side. There were a lot of people pathing around, and Wodar was all over it, making sure the bug didn't happen. Instead, the swap does.
It was a clean swap, but at the same time, it did get seen on the way out, so that is going to be a highlight for the possibility of that swap coming off. It's not a huge highlight, but still credited with the swap.
Yeah, that's very significant. I will say that this is the kind of map where you can get away with that. If something like that happens on Courtyard, you're easily going to remember it near the end. But with Veranda, there's so much that's going to happen in a given game, especially if you time out or something like that, especially if you get a decent number of statue visitors. By the end of the game, it can be very easy to forget, oh, right, they could have swapped.
And with the early statue to statue, that's inspect done as well.
Yeah, and quick enough that I don't know if the possibility here is fully imprinted on Wodar. Not only could this person have swapped, but they could never go to statues again. So if you're waiting for some sort of confirmation from them late, you might not get it.
This is a good start from Wodar. It's a little bit unorthodox. It's a different situation than you usually wind up in as Spy, having heat this early on. But the contact comes off, and if we get this book back into the green bookcase, we've basically won this game.
Right. At that point, it's just, well, keep in mind, Wodar caught flirts earlier. It's done.
That was so risky. It's just a little quick in and out trying to catch Wodar in a bad rotation. It was on camera.
I think it worked.
Wodar's eyes were elsewhere, and now all YerAnd has to do is flirt in 2 minutes.
Now, here's the thing, though. Let's assume you need 3. Right? Let's assume you need 3. Wodar has probably shot you once for flirting already. And look at all the lowlights here. There's only a few people left. So you can do this, and you can see, look at this. YerAnd doesn't want to even risk it. YerAnd wants the fingerprint.
Red test on a difficult fingerprint, though, is not going to be the start YerAnd wants. Doesn't even go to start the flirt.
Oh, look at that conversation. The odds of missing that pad and ruining your game are way too high, even with this much time. Yeah.
This is very, very true.
I don't think this is a no-brainer. I think if you're YerAnd, you're actually kind of nervous about this.
Not a great bounce coming in, down to 1 minute and 30.
And the ST is not cooperating. Once, you mentioned to have a little over 2 minutes to get the flirt done. As you said that, the seduction target approached statues, and then they entered this crammed conversation, and that's all that's happened since, and now 1 minute has burned off since.
Flirt is off the table at this point. Not even... Well, you'd be all in on a 2 flirt, which is not what you... Oh my god! What?
There it is. Yeah,
Was that another pathing shot? What happened?
I mean, if you're looking at Wodar's side, there's only 3 highlights left. Nobody's doing anything. I think if you're Wodar, you're just suspicious enough of some of this. Maybe the microfilm, because that's the one point at which the behavior begins to make sense if you saw something.
I suppose
Yes.
so.
Because here's the thing.
Oh, yeah,
So I just mentioned that the seduction target with 2.5 minutes left just keeps doing things, right? YerAnd has not had an opportunity to do anything. So technically speaking, YerAnd basically does nothing at all after the microfilm. So Wodar is not given a single reason to shoot. In fact, I'm looking through the timeline here. I'm trying to see. YerAnd picked up a briefcase that didn't even have a normal fingerprint on it. I don't think YerAnd even talked.
All right, Wodar, lay it on us. What happened?
So I actually
Spill
think,
it.
yeah, my guess is Wodar basically thought he saw the microfilm, and there were so few suspects, and at that point, he's just waiting for YerAnd to do anything, and because of that minute we mentioned where the seduction target was unavailable, YerAnd never even gave him a single reason to shoot. Nothing was getting done.
The man is in chat. Okay, oh my god, one of the Queen's Idol animations looks like a bug.
Well, it is true.
God damn it.
I didn't think that was it, but if you look at it at the end, there is a lean with the arm right by the Amba.
Oof.
That wasn't my guess. I noticed it, but that sure wasn't my guess.
I have no comment on that, other than we should leave Veranda.
Yes.
And go to what I think is one of the best looking maps in the game. Oh my gosh, the artist did such a good job with Gallery. It looks so badass. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah,
this is a very beautiful map. There are a few of those in the game now.
Yeah,
we've got Library, we've got Terrace.
It's a beautiful map among beautiful maps. When I was at PAX last year, talking to Reika a little bit, they were allowed to tell us that Gallery was being worked on, and you could tell from the tone in her voice how giddy she was about this map in particular. She was thrilled with how Gallery was coming out, and we could see why.
Yeah, looks super good. Interesting notes about Gallery for snipers. It's kind of a long hallway that you're looking down. So there's a lot of people in the way, lots of ways for the spy to hide things and do other little bits of shenanigans. I think we're ready to go.
Let's make this thing happen. Wodar starting things off on the spy in a tie game. YerAnd on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
So Wodar may have imagined that bug a little bit, but at the same time got a lot of good lowlights, a lot off the banana bread, managed to just be patient. So that's not the kind of thing you would notice unless you'd already effectively narrowed the party down.
Wodar starting things off with a briefcase fingerprint. And I think I would like to see early fingerprints like this getting more common rather than immediately going for the seduce. It's a shame Seduction Target went for the briefcase there as well, because now we can't flirt with him, which sucks.
Yeah, Wodar's done it again, and once again, I think it makes sense. You want to be able to game plan out on these maps in particular. It's particularly smart on Veranda and Gallery, where there's a lot of walking around. Seduction targets can really screw up your day. With those kind of maps, you want to find out early if you're going to hit that fingerprint, if you're going to hit a difficult fingerprint, if you're going to get one at all, for example, because the rest of your game can ripple out from there.
We do get that early seduce, though, for 50% on the green test. We've got the fingerprint. This is a good start for Wodar.
Yeah, I would say so. Certainly, the green there, pretty average start without the green, but with it and the fingerprint, you just got to watch that Amba now. Amba there is at statues, prime opportunity here.
We got options now. 2 minutes left on the clock. Flirt cooldown has expired. Not a whole lot of progress as of yet.
And whether or not Wodar goes to statues here could really tell us about his plans for the late game. Does he want to go twice at all? Does he want to do that? If you do want to go and try to finish inspects this game, I think the fingerprint's a no-brainer. But if you don't want to, and on Gallery, that's a decent idea, maybe you wait around. You still have enough time.
The bug opportunity goes by because the Amba's too fast. That is the fastest character in the game. And despite what the model would make you think, being the larger ambassador does not make that bug any easier to pull off.
Now this is interesting. YerAnd briefly highlights Duke for going to the fingerprintable statue, but then thinks better of it in lowlights instead. Very interesting.
Wow.
Not sure what that's about. It's a correct lowlight though.
Interesting indeed. Now that is a difficult fingerprint now there. Oh, don't be like that. All right, we are going to pick this up. Hit a difficult fingerprint on this. Oh, that's not.
no.
Yeah, that's not how you do that.
Oh my
Action
goodness.
priority.
That has to be a misclick. It has to be an extra priorities thing.
That hurt. That
That
hurt.
game started promisingly and unraveled very quickly.
Yeah, I think that's a good summary. YerAnd goes up 5-4 on the back of a red swap statue test. Rather unfortunate, but so it goes. Next up, we're gonna switch sides. YerAnd as Small Man. Ooh, the most dangerous character on this map. The aforementioned people occlusion makes Small Man super easy to hide away in the back. So we'll see if YerAnd takes advantage of that.
In 3, 2, 1, playing it. All right. Step 1, go to the back of that conversation and hide behind somebody.
Yeah. Well, on the other hand, though,
that conversation.
I mean, you're basically invisible in certain places, but the downside is they're going to watch you like a hawk, and you're going to get shot at things you could have done.
We hid behind somebody, but it wasn't in the conversation. There's nothing going on back here.
Nope.
Well, we are just going to take up our post in the back of this conversation and wait for it to fill up. God, how bold of a purloin would this be?
Pretty freaking bold.
It would be more of an italic purloin.
Thomas, I can't decide whether I hate you or love you. YerAnd is highlight at this point just for being Smallman on gallery. He's basically invisible behind Taft here. No progress yet, though. YerAnd steps away to one of the paintings at the side here. Not a whole lot going on for him right now. Looks like he's looking for a statue visit, and that's exactly what he's going to get.
Now, if you wanted to hide with this character, this isn't one of the places you do it. This isn't the kind of game you'd normally play with Small Man unless you're trying to go kind of counterintuitive.
I think he saw himself get highlighted at the back of that conversation there and just decided to act as much like an AI as possible. But we're back in the back. We do have cover for this bug if we want it. Walking bug on the way out. Oh, that's
not gonna work.
Yeah, that was the buggingest bug path I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, with the character you're already suspicious of for bug, just for existing.
Yeah.
Not only that, but since it was a wrong arm bug, you can actually see it right there.
Normally what you're doing as Spy with Small Man on gallery is you're putting them in a position where they have to shoot for a bug they didn't see. That's dangerous enough. When you actually let them see it,
Yep.
Yeah,
it was a bit rough. So a bit rough, but hey, we're tied up 5-5 going into the final map, which is my personal favorite map in the game. So everyone gather around, grab yourself a drink if you're of drinking age in your territory, and we're going to head off to the pub. Small Man waving goodbye to the world, indeed. Wodar starting off his last spy game as Taft, and YerAnd behind the sniper rifle. Anything else you want to say?
Pub is a very interesting map for multiple reasons. Number one, even though its physical space is very small, there can be a lot of walking you have to do if you want to get all the way to some of the conversations on the outside. Number two, you only need one inspect on this map, just the one, so any statue visit is extremely suspicious. Number three, this is the first map to ever introduce Bar Toby, and he is a whole kettle of fish onto himself. Let's see how all these factors wind up playing out with Wodar on the spy and YerAnd on the sniper in 3, 2, 1, play it. Wodar starting things off at one of the inside windows here. Innocent watch check, no time ad business going on as of yet. Wodar looks like he's going to start things off at another window. Okay, never mind.
I would say pub more than most maps, certainly the kind of map where you basically might decide early on or in the middle of the game, am I going to finish or am I going to frame? They're both probably equally viable because of those unusual purloin mechanics.
I don't know, it's a triple window. What is happening right now, Wodar? We just wanted to wait for the seduction target to get away from the dang bar.
It took a long time. I think this is a problem there. Wodar wanted to do the standard flirt, very understandable. The party didn't cooperate, and rather than do something else, just sort of decided I'm going to wait around and just start my game about a minute late.
Yeah. Wodar insisted, and now he's behind the curve as far as the clock is concerned.
And didn't get a green either, which might have made up some of that time.
Indeed, only 34% on that seduce right now. Only 2 minutes left to play. Wodar is not moving very quickly, even after the fact. Is this just all in on frame already?
It wouldn't be ridiculous. It really wouldn't, especially after that slow start has maybe forced your hand a little bit.
Maybe. Minute and 40 to play. Looks like Wodar stepping into statues here in the middle of the game. This is an unusual decision for a frame, to be certain. Oh, he just went ahead and swapped the statue. He just straight up did it. As soon as he leaves this, he's dead, I'm pretty sure.
What's crazy about this is the suspected double agents between that and Taft. The statue is just now becoming visible. If this had been the last mission, he would have won already.
Yeah.
There was so much blockage there, but now it's going to be seen, and you got to figure Wodar, as soon as he does basically anything, he's got it down to 2. He just doesn't know if it was green or white because it was completely blocked, and now you need Salmon to do something. Ooh, he's trying for it.
There's the contact trying to frame Salmon.
He knows what he's doing, but YerAnd's not taking the bait yet. Interesting.
The plays, I think he knows that Salmon hasn't been active enough to make this happen.
That's very impressive there. Wodar does what we know to be pretty much exactly the right thing, given his options, but it still hasn't worked.
There's been no purloin business going on yet. 30 seconds left on the clock. Wodar did everything right trying to frame Salmon there, and it hasn't worked out. Is there a backup plan?
You really want Salmon to go in and talk somewhere now. That's probably the best thing you could hope for.
Here he goes.
Walking right by the Amba, wow. And a weird bump, too.
Yeah, but clearly not a bug. And he's at a window. What do you, like, this is GG, there's no way.
They're looking at each other in the window.
Wodar tried to force a timeout at the end there.
What I think he was really doing was going to the window to stare at Salmon and confront him and say, "What is wrong with you, man? Please do something."
Yeah, that was really good restraint from YerAnd to not shoot.
Oh yeah, if I'm Wodar looking at this replay, I'm thinking, what do I have to do? I did exactly what I wanted to do. I did it just right, and YerAnd is just convinced.
Yeah,
very high-level game there from both players. That was good stuff.
This is what we love to see. We always like to say we don't like to see people lose games of SpyParty. We like to see them win games of SpyParty. We want to see a great game with a great counter game. Punch, counter punch. That's what that was. Wodar played that really, really well, and YerAnd just... I mean, look, it's entirely possible it was more like indecision, crippling fear and indecision rather than restraint. You never really know, but let's give YerAnd credit and say probably just really excellent restraint on the sniper side.
And it didn't look fancy. There weren't fireworks in that game, like when the freaking Seek walked in front of the camera and got his turban shot.
Yeah, it's not fireworks, but all the fireworks are happening in the players' heads right there. All of the activity is just percolating in their brains. You know, it looks like nothing's happening on pub. There's not a lot of camera movement, a lot of theatrics, but a lot going on inside each player's head. Probably just a bustle of activity that we could not see there.
And now YerAnd on the Spy has a chance to take the entire set right here and now on this game. Wodar fighting for a draw in 3, 2, 1, playing it. We found drama, people. We got there. Relatively slow start from YerAnd, starting things out at the window. Some interesting bounces right up against Wheels the Ambassador. But just starting things off with that standard flirtation. Not too close, so we'd really like to see a green here, because I don't think this is quite in range for 32. It might be in range for 32, actually.
Yeah,
it's going to be close.
The flirt can get out of your control a little bit sometimes on pub.
Let's see how this goes. It is 32. So not the nice snuggly 34 we usually see, but still in range for a 3 flirt if we get nice and close on the next 2. Now stepping in to the bar to start some purloin shenaniganry, or at least give himself the option. Not a whole lot of activity at the bar before him, so there's not going to be a lot of cover for it if he does go for this delegate.
No, a general obliges by going afterwards, but you really want at least a couple more.
Going for a blank briefcase. No fingerprint available, not even a difficult one.
Well, could be trying to reduce some suspicion, not that there's a whole lot on you, or just mistakenly thought there was one there. Maybe another difficult attempt. Easy to lose track.
That was a weird looking briefcase. It was probably pretty good, but it was weird looking.
Well,
now we're on the opposite side of the conversation from the seduction target, and we would really like to see a green here. We don't get it. 52% is where that mission is yet, and with 1:15 left and no completions, we might just be all in on getting someone else shot here. That is not where you want to be. Fake contact coming off.
3 possible lowlights, and the delegate timer has expired.
There's 1 low light, and that is all.
That's pretty bad. 3's pretty decent if you get them all, but the problem was 2 of them moved right around when the banana bread was happening, so if you're not looking right at them, a little hard to be confident.
Final spy game of the set, fighting for the win here. You want to feel like you're in control of your fate, but this is just a bad situation. Another delegate started off by YerAnd. 30 seconds to play. Mike is probably going to use this to desperately try to induce a shot. Doesn't quite get the highlight sent. Winds up being queen instead. 20 seconds. Queen goes to the farthest possible location.
Yeah, I don't know about this.
It is going to be overtime here.
Wodar has shown a lot of restraint as sniper so far. I'm confident he can pull this out here.
What am I talking about? It's not going to be overtime. There's no mission completion.
It would have been if it was the last mission.
Time ad hanging at 0 now. And does YerAnd just rush now? Is that what we do? Do we just rush?
You have to rush with the clock flashing 0 and Wodar staring right at him, not even looking at the M anymore.
Swap. No inspect.
That's what? Going to the other statue, maybe? That's all I could think of. Nope.
No.
YerAnd has done this twice now. Gone and not taken a free inspect.
I think that was just a straight misplay. Oh god. Oh god.
And it's all over. There we go.
Well, that's
that
one
rough.
way to finish the match. Oof.
Oof, indeed.
I think that swap was supposed to be an inspect.
That makes a lot more sense, certainly, but I don't think it was going to matter at that point. It really looked like Wodar was just sitting on it. Honestly, the Ambassador was kind of vulnerable on the other side of the map, and Wodar didn't even seem to care. I think Wodar was just sitting on this. Remember, there was the green time ad, and you see a statue visitor late like that after a green time ad, you're pretty suspicious. I really don't think there was anything he could do at that point.
Yeah, a good effort. Really good sniper play from both players, and actually some good spy play. That was a damn good game from
Yeah,
There
both.
was,
Just
yeah,
I
there
think a
was
little bit of
some.
nerves at the end kind of threw that one away. And actually, nerves had a couple. There was the red test at the statues on gallery from Wodar as well. So, oof, I know Cletus never should have given me custom tooltip options.
Dude,
So-
these custom tooltips are bloody amazing. It
oh,
has
thank
to
you.
be said.
Well, thank you. So that brings us to the end of our first match of the night. Oh, the next match. Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen. And do we have something absolutely special for you? The next game is going to be the one, the only, the crazy Kaylee versus KCMMMMM, and they are
And
going to
we're
do
doing
this
it live.
live.
Yeah.
So,
Well, while we're waiting for them to set up, let's talk a little bit about the implications of the match we just saw here.
okay.
Wodar does salvage a tie at the end, which I'm sure he's fine with, especially against someone like YerAnd, who's started very strong. But that's actually the first match Wodar hasn't won outright. He is 4-0-1 now at the top of silver. YerAnd 3-0-1, although there's an outstanding match against Checker, so let's just say 4-0-1
Oh,
and say that
oh,
Wodar and your come on, really?
oh,
Sorry, Checker, but
Sorry, Checker.
you are overplaced.
Yes,
oh,
that's fair. Wodar and YerAnd are
oh.
not, though. After half the season, Wodar and YerAnd are both going to have 9 out of a possible 10 points. And when you look at the rest of Silver, you have Checker there at the bottom. Turnout, who has improved his last couple matches, but is currently 0-4. James 12221 has 2 points. Teetery has 4. Wodar and YerAnd are up there alone with double the points of anyone else in the division. This is, you just saw tonight, a preview of the Silver Final.
And we're gonna have to cut it short because they are already drafting. Oh
Oh
my
my.
gosh.